Hey everyone, just wanted to make a video on some tips I've gained from experience playing mainly Amethyst, Sapphire, and Steel. I pretty much play those three colors exclusively. And yeah, just wanted to give some tips on things that I've picked up through my experiences in my matches. So always stay on ramp, never ramp down, because you always want to keep up with your opponent. So like, for example, say you have a Smee in play, right, on your second turn, or if it's on your third turn rather, and you quest with it for 2, and say you have a Madame Fox in your hand, it's better if you, even though like, you know, the Smee has no damage until the end of the turn, it'll have 1 damage if you don't have a captain, but rather than just leaving it on the field while having a Madame, and if Madame is your only play, it's always best to play the Madame to bounce the Smee, just so you know you have a character that's stronger than your Smee, and then, you know, next turn you can always just play the Smee again, or ink the Smee if you have a better play on your, like for a 4-drop, because you know, once Smee gets that 1 damage counter, there's so many cards that if you're facing Steel mainly, that deal 2 damage, and that just takes me right out. Where if you would have played Fox to bounce me, Fox is still at 3. He has more strength. He's at 4, and he's not exerted. So your opponent can't play anything, or with rush, or if they had already a character on their board, they can't challenge it. So he's pretty much safe unless your opponent has something that deals 3 or more damage. If you already have a card in your hand that draws, and you're planning on using that card that turn anyway, it should always be your first play. That way you gain more knowledge in your hand, you know, and you're able to make better plays with that, you know, because that extra 1 or 2 cards that you draw can make you change your mind about the whole play that you're going to make that turn. If you have the library in play and you're thinking about trading one of your characters into your opponent's, always try to remember, if you have ink to spare other than your main play that turn, to put your characters inside the library before the trade, because you want to get as much value from your trades as possible. You know, you don't want to go neg 1 and just that be that. You know, you might, like, if you trade and you get to draw off that trade, you're not really negging, you're actually plussing. So, you know, always remember that. Next tip would be, if you have a character in play, and you have a song in hand, and then that character has enough cost that they can sing that song, I would always use the character to sing instead of hard casting it, because you would still have your full inkwell to use, you know. And sometimes it might get tricky, because you might find yourself maybe running behind on lore, and you see your opponent, you know, gaining that lore, and you kind of want to catch up. So it might be tempting to just quest for 2, but what if, like, say you quest, right, and then the next turn your opponent gets rid of your character, and now you're forced to hard cast that, and then that's all you can do that turn because you can't afford to play anything else. Then it's tough. That would be really rough. So if you use your character to sing, you know, you draw your 2 cards, you have much more plays, and it just makes life easier. So you know, always maximize on using what you have on the board and use the most out of it, you know. You don't want to fall behind because you didn't make the most optimal play. Make sure to test with other players, human players, because testing or playing against the AI is definitely useful because it helps you find certain plays you can do with your deck and your cards, but it won't really resemble playing against someone in real life, because a human opponent will be thinking ahead of their turn. They'll use more complex combos and most likely always be harder to beat than the AI. And last but not least, this is probably the most cliche tip, but it's always going to be true. Always make sure that you're having fun, play a deck you enjoy, and avoid picking a deck just because it won the last big event. Always choose a deck because it fits your preferred playstyle and it's fun for you to play, because playing a deck you don't enjoy and you're playing it just to win will make you feel burned out and it will take the fun out of the game. So it's just better to stick to a deck and enjoy and grind with it. That way you get to really know how your deck plays. And even though, like, say you're playing against an opponent that's running a meta deck and your deck might be meta or might be not meta, but let's just say that it's not as like, I guess, meta or as powerful as the deck your opponent is running. If you know how to, like, the ins and outs of your deck, you have a better chance at winning, because if somebody just picked up a deck, they don't really know how to play it, but the deck is like the #1 meta deck, and it's their first time playing it, they're really not gonna know what to do. But you know your deck in and out, so you have that advantage, and that advantage is probably way more important than just having a meta deck but not knowing what to do with it. So just always keep that in mind. Have fun, and just find out about your own play style, find your play style, and just go with it. Just get better. And yeah, thanks for watching. Stay safe.